What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we find ourselves in Los Angeles, California, a place I have yet to tour, and I am super excited about it. The other first for this, well, not necessarily a first, but something we haven't done in quite some time, is we're going to be touring this. This is the StudioPod from Autonomous. So let me turn you around. I'll tell you all about it. All right, now I know this is a little outside of what we typically tour, just a little bit, but when Autonomous reached out to us and asked if we'd be interested in touring their StudioPod, well, I just couldn't help myself. I got a little excited about it. You see, not only am I a spice rack nerd, but I also geek out when it comes to office spaces. I work from home, and having an area that allows me to focus and relax and really dive in and get some stuff done, I'm all about it. And while we tour all these amazing homes across the country, most of them having some spectacular office spaces that I, and probably you as well, would kill to have. In order to have those offices, you'd have to purchase the home. And to purchase the home, you need a couple $1 million. And right now, but all is not lost. Enter Autonomous and the StudioPod. Now, Autonomous actually has 3 pods within their lineup. They have the StudioPod, which we're going to be touring today, along with the WorkPod and the WorkPod Lite. The StudioPod is the larger of the 3, coming in at 105 square feet. And when it comes to the price, whew, y'all just wait until you hear this price. If you get the StudioPod with no furniture and you set it up yourself, yes, it is set up to be DIY, it starts at $18,900. And right now, they are shipping it within the continental US. If you did get it with furniture or had Autonomous help you set it up, of course, the price would go up just a little bit. Now, the StudioPod does not come assembled. It actually comes in a bunch of different pieces, and then you can assemble it on site. From start to finish, it takes about 48 hours to complete, unless, of course, you're like me, and it takes an eternity and everything goes horribly wrong during the construction phase. If that's the case, well, you can leverage Autonomous's network of contractors to have someone come out and set the StudioPod up for you. Now, before we get into actually touring the StudioPod, while I was in this gorgeous garden setting with water features and all the trees in the shade, I took the opportunity to sit down with the owner of this pod, Shimon, who works alongside of Autonomous through their showroom program, which allows people like you and me to show up, check out the home, and ultimately see what it's like before we actually make a purchase. I also wanted to get his thoughts and opinions on what it's like working with Autonomous, from purchasing to the delivery to the setup and just having a StudioPod. Here's what he had to say. What made you go with the Autonomous pod as opposed to others like ADUs or pods on the market?
A few things, Timothy. The design, the ease working with Autonomous team. They were super helpful, not in a silly way, so to speak. Putting this in 48 hours from the delivery date. I scheduled the boys, they came. 2 days and it was done.
Wow. So from the time that you decided that you wanted it until the time that they put it up, did that take?
We got lucky. They said it's gonna be a few weeks of the delivery, whatever was going on, but something happens like, hey, we have this extra one, we're gonna deliver this week.
Oh, right on.
Like, okay, great.
Yeah, real fast.
So I contacted they have a group of, there's this guy who puts them together for the Autonomous.
Okay.
And I contacted the guy, he came over 2 days, and they did it.
Wow.
So I got really lucky. Within a week, everything was done. I think now with more production,
right,
I think they make the
faster.
process faster. Yeah, but it was like 2 or 3 weeks wait time. But in like 48 hours, I got the emails like, oh, we're actually sending you one out.
That's exciting.
I said, okay, thank you very much.
Now, like I mentioned earlier, right now, Autonomous only has one of these showrooms, which is here at Shimon's home. However, they are looking to expand to 5 more showrooms across the country by the end of the second quarter. Now, you're the only showroom right now in the country.
No way.
Yeah. You know that?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You're
it.
the only one.
Oh, that's funny. No.
Did they ask you about that, or how'd that work?
Yes, they approached me and said, Shimon, would it be okay if you do a showroom? And of course, there's a little bit of, I won't say monetary exchange, but what would they call it? It was not ambassador, it was, I get a percentage from the sale.
Like an affiliate.
Exactly, thank you. Affiliate program.
What made you go with this one as opposed to the WorkPod or the WorkPod Lite?
Size.
Okay.
I think it was the size and it was the dimension, the look of it, because the mini one was good 20 feet shorter, a square feet smaller.
Right.
And the design of it was funkier. I needed something more longer, rectangular kind of a thing. And I like the black, I like the finish of it. It's clean, it's really nice put together, you know. It's been a year now,
Really?
and nothing.
It blends into the garden perfectly. It's almost like a shadow just back there. So that's pretty neat. All right, without further ado, it is time to get into the StudioPod. I love the black siding. It's actually a black vinyl siding. Looks really good, especially here in like this garden setting, kind of blends into the shadows. The walls themselves are actually made up of 7 different layers, including like a honeycomb paper, which allows for like a noise reduction barrier, and then also has a steel frame in there as well. But this is the view that you're greeted with when you do first walk in. It's got this great big windows right here that actually open, so you can get a little airflow, a little extra airflow into the StudioPod. But tons of space. Like you could put a bed in here for sure. You could probably fit a couch in here. Definitely get your big TV up. So tons of possibilities for whatever you wanted to use the pod for. Right now it's actually being used as 1, an office space, and then 2, it's being used as like a yoga studio as well. And then you also have all of your electrical components, a little fan up top, and just a lot of extra storage kind of built into the pod, which is nice. Now when it comes to insulation, optimally the StudioPod is rated for between 40 and 105 degrees Fahrenheit. So use that information as you will. You're probably not going to put this in like the Arctic Circle or anything, because you're going to freeze your tuchus off unless you have like a heater or something like that. And then in terms of the noise, if you're concerned about that, I did go outside and this is what it sounded like. So definitely super quiet. You can have tons of things happening outside. I even had to crank the volume up a little bit on the clip so that you could kind of hear what I was saying, but it was still ultimately inaudible. So that's cool. In addition to having all the pods, Autonomous also has a full lineup of office furniture. In this home, we got to take a sneak peek at their Ergo Chair Pro, which was super comfortable, along with their sitting to standing desk, which is really neat because I love working from my kitchen countertop sometimes, just because I like standing up. This desk right here, it's a little low to the ground, so every now and again, to get the juices flowing, I need to stand up, kind of move around a little bit. All right, let me know what you think about this home / pod down in the comments. What would you use it for? Would you use it for like a home, an Airbnb, something like that? Or would you use it for some type of studio, whether it be gaming or an office or whatever the case may be? Thank you so much to Autonomous for sponsoring this video. Greatly appreciated. Thank you to Shimon for opening your doors and allowing us to come and check this thing out. But most importantly, thank you, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have opportunities to tour some of the amazing homes we do all across the country. And for that, I am greatly appreciative. With that though, I hope you have a fantastic day. My name's Timothy, and I look forward to seeing your beautiful face in the next one.